much for joining us on Go Local Live in the Navigate and Credit Union Broadcast Center. This is Ray Ward with Bwana Iguana. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, this is awesome. Mainly I love animals, and so anytime I can have some in the studio, I pretty much jump on that opportunity.
Good call. Good call.
So you have been interested in reptiles pretty much since you were a kid, right?
My entire life, from as young as I can remember. Started with dinosaurs, morphed into reptiles.
I like that, and I think you have a pretty cool shirt on too.
Thank you. Coincidence? I think not.
Probably not. So tell me a little bit about Bwana Iguana, and then we're going to meet some friends back here. I've already seen one of them, and I'm looking forward to what you're doing. But you started this company, and you go out and you teach not only kids but adults about reptiles. Tell me kind of just about this.
Exactly right. You know, as we just said, I've had a lifelong interest in reptiles. I've always enjoyed them, and I always kept them as pets. My first job, the very first paycheck I ever got, I bought a boa constrictor with it. Right. So I've always loved reptiles, and you know, I kept them, but back in those days, if you talk to people about snakes or reptiles, like in the 70s, they always viewed you with a little bit of suspicion and maybe thought you were a little bit strange. But you know, I used to go to pet shops and buy them, and over the course of time doing that, I bumped into a few other guys locally, and I could probably like around 1990, a few guys and I got together. We decided that we're going to found the Rhode Island Herpetological Association. So we got together, and we made a little pitch at the Audubon Society in Smithfield. They allowed us to use their auditorium the last Sunday of every month. And we started, it was before the internet, so just through word of mouth, we used to pass out flyers, and people that were into reptiles started to come to the meetings. And then it just kind of blossomed from there. So, you know, my whole entire adult life I was involved in printing. I worked in printing. But I saw a guy doing a show one time at a block party, and I said, I can do that. And I had like a basement full of reptiles. So I went to work and talked about it, and at the time it was the design department for a magazine. Everybody who worked there was a designer. And they are the people that put together all of my promotional material, my website,
it kind of looks like you.
Everything, right? Everything. So it was the height of Crocodile Hunter and Jeff Corwin shows. So I started to put ads in little local papers just to see if the phone would ring. The phone started ringing immediately. So there it went. I started doing kids' birthday parties, and I did just birthday parties only for probably 6 or 7. I started in 2002. By 2008. I was able to start going full time with it. So it just corresponded, the timing corresponded. My job faded out at the time when so many other people's jobs are fading out.
Yeah.
I bumped up my advertising a little bit, and I turned my part-time gig into my full-time gig. So here it is, Bwana Iguana Reptile Adventure.
Here it is.
Here it is. So, you know, I do kids' birthday parties. I started with the birthday parties, but now I do camps, daycare centers. I go to all the Feinstein Junior Scholar, elementary schools, or whatever. Anybody calls and they want a reptile guy to hang out at their party, I'm the guy. I go to PACE, the day program for senior citizens downtown, and they love it. And I can't tell you how often people in their 70s, 80s, 90s have said to me, I can't believe that felt so nice first time they ever touched a snake or any reptile in their whole life. Yeah, what's better than that? So my whole job is doing what I love doing, playing with reptiles and laughing and having fun. So if you were to say, Ray, what would you rather be doing other than Bwana Iguana? The answer would be nothing. I'm living my dream right now.
Sit behind a desk and look at a computer all day, or hang out with reptiles.
Exactly.
And people too,
exactly.
Right?
So,
I mean, I think it's cool because a lot of people, can have a fear. They go, "Ugh, snakes," right? And so, do you feel like you are trying to change those misconceptions and educate people? Like, look, snakes are great. They help control rat population. They help do certain kinds of things. Like, do you feel like that's kind of part of your mission?
It is 100% my mission. As you may be aware, a lot of people are afraid of snakes for no real reason. They just say, I'm afraid of snakes or whatever. But and reptiles have gotten a bad rap over the centuries, because of biblical connotations and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is what you just said. Snakes are very beneficial to the environment. All reptiles are. Yeah. So they help to keep down populations of rodents and this, that, and the other thing. But beyond that, in my opinion, they are one of the most beautiful animals on the planet visually, and even texturally, all that, they're really, really incredibly cool. And once you introduce them to people in a benign, safe setting, people's fears and hesitations start to dissipate. So, especially if I go to a kid's birthday party on a weekend, grandma's in the back, like, I can't look at that thing. and I will tell you this, girls are 10 times braver than boys. So even adult men, rough and tumble, good tattoos, blah, 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 they're afraid of reptiles. But once they see it out in the open and kids are touching them and they see how nice they feel and how absolutely benign they are, it kind of, changes people's perception. And I love that. So maybe now, because I hear the stories, my dad just ran a snake over with the lawnmower. Well, so hopefully when they see it and they touch it and they see that it's not going to bother anything, they change their perception.
I like that.
But it's not just snakes. Lizards are cool, turtles are cool. I bring turtles to the shows. One of the first times I ever saw a turtle out in the wild, my cousin and I, looking out the window, a turtle's crossing his driveway. The first thing my cousin says is, let's go get him and take him out of his shell. So every day when I talk to kids about turtles, I ask them, do you think we can take a turtle out of his shell? And of course, a lot of them say yes, so then we talk about why you can't take them out of their shell, because their shell is actually a living, growing part of their body, their skeleton. So there's a lot of information that I try to impart about reptiles that I hope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please do not let these children impose animal cruelty. Okay, let's meet some of these fascinating animals that you have with us today.
Well, I brought 3 different reptiles with me today: a snake, a lizard, a turtle.
Cool.
The snake is
Get my camera ready.
About a 6-foot Suriname red tail boa. Her name is Honeybun. And I have a blue-tongued skink lizard. I call him Chunky, the dancing lizard. And I have a tortoise that I call Little T. So I'll leave it up to you. Which one would you like to see first? Should we work from the small and go to the big?
Sure.
All right, let's take that one first.
You're the expert here. I don't know.
This.
They really are all in there together.
Yeah, well, I took them out of the bags in the back, so it's easier to take them out.
And this snake is just fine chilling with the turtle?
Her name is Honeybun for a reason.
Honeybun doesn't eat the turtle?
No, this is
How does she not
T.
eat the turtle?
Well, her natural diet would not be turtles or tortoises, so she'll just ignore him for the short time that they're in there.
The turtle was tortoise.
Tortoise.
Sorry,
right? He's a tortoise.
I'm so sorry.
A tortoise, which is just a turtle.
I'm so
it's
sorry.
Just a
I didn't mean to offend
that's
you.
Specialized to live on land. You see, he doesn't have web feet.
No,
he
doesn't
little
have
feet,
web
kind
feet.
of like little elephant feet.
I suppose that would be very difficult to digest the shell. A snake would be difficult to digest.
It would probably take a long time, but alligators eat turtles out in the wild. They just crunch them right up and eat them.
Their teeth are a little bit stronger than.
But they have really strong, digestive juices too, so they'll dissolve that shell. It's just bones.
Okay, so what is his name?
His name is Little T. He's
should turn off my
a
flash.
Russian tortoise, and these Russian tortoises are sold locally in pet shops throughout the U.S. really, but they're very common.
Hey.
They're very common.
Hi, Mr. T.
Yeah, Little T.
Little T.
Little T.
Little T.
But I call
He's actually not that little. He's kind of heavy.
Well, he eats a lot. But he's like a kitten without the fur, as you can see. He loves getting his head rubbed, but you probably also notice he has the same exact haircut as I do. Same thing. Right? Why would he not love it?
What do you feed them usually?
Well, they're a vegetarian. So out in the wild, he would be eating little grasses, hay. He'll eat dry leaves and hay and all that. But I try to feed him a mixed diet of greens. He eats pretty much any of the leftover salad stuff that I have. He loves romaine, but he eats grass and hay. And he likes rabbit pellets too.
Oh, you do? Are those special treats?
Yeah. So some people will buy these things and they don't get enough info on them. They feed him dog food and all, and he would actually eat it, but it's not good for him. He has to be on a vegetarian diet.
And then where did you say these were native to?
He is from Central Asia. They're called the Russian tortoise, also known as the Afghan tortoise. So he's right from that same general area, Afghanistan.
Cool.
He's a steppes tortoise, yeah.
I like his little tail. I like his little turtle butt.
He's the coolest.
So when it comes to tortoises, do they like? Are they okay being on their own? Are they social creatures?
They're pretty out in the wild. They're pretty solitary, and
Yeah.
he's a male tortoise. Male tortoises can actually get pretty aggressive with other tortoises. As a matter of fact, you might see occasionally videos on Facebook. People will post a tortoise like this, like running, pushing a ball around. It's like, oh, he thinks he's a dog. He actually is viewing the ball as like an adversary, because that's what they do to each other out in the wild. They'll meet, they'll start bobbing their heads like that, and then they clash with each other. So most tortoises, male tortoises at least, stay pretty solitary.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I put him with another turtle at home. It was an actual turtle, and he kept like harassing it. So I'm like, all right, we got to keep him.
Were you being a jerk?
Yeah.
Jeez.
If it's another male, they try to battle him. If it's a female, they just nonstop try to breed him.
It's one or the other for these guys, I guess.
And it's too much. It's too much. They're over the top like that.
Oh, but you get along with Honey Bun. Okay, so we'll put him away. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, my phone's like going off over here taking pictures of who knows what.
Let's take out our friend Chunky the Dancing Lizard. I call him Chunky the Dancing Lizard.
Oh my gosh, you are gorgeous.
He's cool, right? He's actually called a blue-tongued skink. Maybe you can see it. There we go.
Skink.
S-K-I-N-K. You want to hold him?
Yeah.
You hold him like
Okay, yeah.
he stands on your hands. Front feet, back feet, just like that.
Oh my gosh,
Flat like this, so his feet are on your hands.
Oh, okay.
There we go, just like that.
Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
He is awesome, right? And he feels just like corn on the cob. Exactly like it.
His tail is like so interesting. Okay.
Well, that's one of the ways he protects himself. You see, he has a blue tongue, right?
It's like a stub tail.
Yeah, right? Well, that's a good observation, because out in the wild, they use their tongue to protect themselves. If something comes and threatens the blue-tongued skink, they open up their mouth really wide, really fast, and hang that whole big blue tongue out. And when they do that, they start to wiggle it really, really quickly back and forth, because you may know, out in the wild, a flash of bright color like blue can mean a plant or an animal is venomous or dangerous. He's totally harmless and friendly. Sometimes it works and he's able to frighten his enemy away, but if it doesn't work and something continues to try to capture him, he'll let them grab him by his tail, and if we pull hard on Chunky's tail, his tail will fall right off. Yeah. So this guy can lose his tail anywhere from the tip all the way to where his back legs are, or anywhere else in between, but when his tail falls off, it doesn't just lay still on the ground.
Does it move?
It starts to wiggle just like a worm all around him. So while his tail's wiggling around, his enemy may watch his tail. It's a distraction. If they do that, he can slowly crawl away. And if he gets away, he grows a brand new tail. And he actually did lose the tip of his tail before.
So it's going back
A
right
new
now?
piece is grown back again, but it will never grow to the same length, and it will never look the same. It will always look different. But he can continuously lose just pieces of it or the whole thing. It will always grow back again.
This is fascinating.
He is an omnivore. He'll eat a little bit of everything.
You are, and so where are these native to?
They're found through a pretty good area through like around Indonesia and Australia. He's from New Guinea. That guy's from.
You're from New Guinea.
From
My
New
phone
Guinea.
is just like randomly
Yeah.
going on. This is really weird. And my phone's like, yeah, take pictures.
Well,
It's not taking pictures of
That's
anything.
because Chunky's very photogenic, right? You may have noticed that he's super photogenic.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna give you back Chunky, and then that way I can actually take a picture of him, and so my phone's not just taking random pictures. Chunky. So if people are interested, if people see this and they're like, oh my gosh, he's so cool looking. Is it good for people to have these as pets?
I will tell you this: when people ask me, they'll say to me that their kid is interested in having a pet reptile.
Yeah.
I recommend the blue-tongued skink because they're readily available. People breed them, so you can
breed these?
People breed them. Yeah, you can find them, pretty commonly, and they're really easy to take care of. They eat a lot of different things, and I bring this guy to like fairs and festivals. Like he'll be at the Rally for Recovery in a few weeks downtown. He'll sit on a table for 4 hours straight, and hundreds of people will touch him. He just sits there, and it's like he likes it. You know what I mean? So.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a cool pet.
Because I'm thinking, animals are not always easy to take care of, especially for kids. It's a big responsibility.
Oh, there are some reptiles that are like really difficult to
Yeah.
take care of. They require all kinds of super special lighting, heating, humidity.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty difficult.
Oh, okay.
Blue-tongued skink's pretty easy, as is the Russian tortoise.
Okay. So maybe this is an option. But definitely it's always important to do your homework, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Parents and kids do your homework.
Most definitely. And, you know, no kid should be allowed just to go to a pet shop or whatever to buy any kind of pet, period, you know. But yeah, do your research online or go to the library. That's why when I started with reptiles, there was no internet. I had to go to the library.
Library's a good place.
I had to go to the library.
I like him. Okay, now that time to bring out the big guns.
All right, the big gun. The big gun or the honey bun.
The honey bun.
Right?
Okay, I'm sorry, but
honey bun.
that is just. I can't believe they all just hang out together.
Well, they don't.
Okay, if you don't like snakes,
that's just,
maybe close your eyes. Keep watching, but close your eyes.
Just so you know, they are usually not all together just in a box like that.
No, this is not how you keep your pets at home.
I had to do that just
Otherwise, we'd have to call the police.
Just for the sake of simplicity.
Okay, do I get to wear her?
Of course.
Yes!
Of course.
Life is made!
Well, why would you have it any other way?
Okay, what do I do?
Just, you're doing it.
Okay.
You're doing it just like that. Put this in just like that. And just let her do her thing. She's cool.
Honey bun.
That's honey bun.
So cool. Glenn, we're getting a snake.
She's a Suriname, a Suriname red tail boa. If she was out in the wild, she'd be living in a country in South America called Suriname, and you might be able to see. She's got a pretty decent red tail, you know. So that's how she gets her name. But she's, you know, actually, you know, a form of a boa constrictor.
Look, she's just trying to like wrap her tail around everything.
She tries to hold on to anything, yes. So if she was out in the wild, she'd also spend a lot of time in the trees. So that's why she's doing her thing.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Really cool, right?
She's
really
just absolutely gorgeous.
Really cool.
The underside of her tail is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
This
really
is
nice.
just
Really nice.
amazing.
And there are a variety of different red tail boas, and some of them are even much more colorful than honey bun.
Is she like, what's going on over here? Who is this lady?
You leave your hand open so
Okay.
she can.
Oh, sorry.
So she can do her thing. There we go.
Okay. Is she getting nervous because I'm not doing it right?
No, she's crawling. As long as she doesn't feel like she's hindered,
Okay.
she's fine. She just crawls around.
So where do you even get these snakes?
Oh, well, that's actually a good question. All of the animals that I use for Bwana Iguana Style Adventure were other people's pets. You know, plenty of people, as we said, you know, they'll buy a turtle or a tortoise for their kid.
It does make me a little nervous to have her face going on my head.
And over time, mom is the one who ends up taking care of the stuff, so they
Yeah.
get tired of it, you know, so people will call me and ask me if I want, you know, certain things, and if I can use them for the show, I take them. So that's where I get the vast majority of the animals that I use for the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that people get snakes like this for pets?
Not really, because
This is a very large commitment.
You know, it is a large commitment, and as you probably have heard on the news, there's been a lot of instances where people lose their snakes, or they actually let them go, and
Yeah.
they let them go, you know, in a place where they shouldn't be, and
Yeah.
all that does is freak the public out, you know,
Yeah.
and then it further gives reptiles a bad name. You know, all of
Yeah.
a sudden Fluffy's gone because the next door neighbor's boa ate him. You know, so that's not cool.
No, we don't want that, right? What else can you tell me about Honey Bun?
Honey Bun is just an awesome, cool boa. You know, she is really an ambassador for snakes in Rhode Island and southeastern Mass, because so many kids have, you know, touched her, felt her, said how awesome she is. You know, virtually all kids.
I mean, I'm just
first
hanging
thing
out
they
with
say
the
when you
snake around
take
my
any
neck.
snake out is, "Oh, that thing is slimy," because they're so shiny and all that. And when they feel it, they realize, like, wow, she feels really nice and dry as a bone, totally not slimy. So
Yeah, where does that even come from, the
because they're so
sliminess?
shiny.
They're so
They're
shiny.
so shiny. I have a snake at home. His belly is so shiny. He does look like he's wet.
He looks like she's wet. Okay, well, I better do a selfie with Honey Bun. And with Ray. I think that probably turned out blurry as I do this. All right, so Ray Ward from Bwana Iguana. We have Honey Bun. We have
Little T.
we have Little T, and we have the Skink.
Chunky.
Chunky. Awesome. Thank you so much for being a great ambassador to these animals. And if you're interested in finding out more, you can